Super Rugby round 4 is in the bag. All the Saturday games have been played. If you were a home team, you did pretty well. It was a sweep for the home teams this Saturday. So, yeah, no real upsets this week. If you're doing Super Brew and you picked an upset, then you didn't really do the right thing, at least with the Saturday games, because, yeah, these are all favourites. The bookies had all these results, although some of the margins are a wee bit different, but yeah, we will start with the first one. That was the Crusaders. Just doing what the Crusaders do, man. 57 points to 28. They were not letting the Chiefs get up off the deck. The Chiefs have been 3-0. Well, none and 3 really thus far this season. Not a good start to the season. And the Crusaders took a chance to drive them back down into the dirt. 57 points to 28 is a pretty big scoreline. There's a whole lot of try scorers here. Enor got one in the 6th minute. Sevu Reece got one. Will Jordan got 2. Makaleo got 1. Alaalatoa got 1. Taylor got 2. And Bryn Hall got 1. I mean, it's not like the Chiefs didn't score any points. 28 points when you go down to Christchurch. It's actually not that bad, but when you let in 57 points, it does look at it. So Siu got 1 off the back of a scrum. That was pretty nice. Nana Satoro is kind of one of the bright spots of the Chiefs season, with him kind of scoring fairly consistently. Debrasini got a try and Brown got a try at the end. So I suppose when you look at these times, like 72 minutes, 74 minutes at least for the Chiefs, they didn't give up. They still put on some points at the end to try and make it a little bit more respectable. But when you've conceded almost 60 points in a record-breaking loss, still not going to be a good look. So I didn't get to see this one. I only got to see the highlights, and I saw a little bit at the tail end of the game. But yeah, it looks like from what I saw, did Moody go off early in this one? I'm not sure about that, but it looked like every time the Chiefs would make a mistake, be it a DMAC kind of loose kick or a pass to nobody, the Crusaders were just punishing that all day long. So yeah, I guess that's just the Crusaders doing what the Crusaders do. They are looking a cut above everybody at this point. They're 4 wins on the bounce, and you can't really see them dropping any results thus far. They've got that much depth, and not even all their top guys are playing. So the fact that they can go in and do something like this is pretty worrying for the rest of us. So if you're a Crusaders fan, it's happy days. The Chiefs, I mean, I don't think many people, some people were kind of hoping that they would kind of bounce back this week and show us something a bit different, but it was always going to be tough to turn their season around down in Christchurch, and sure enough, it's not to be. So, yeah, there was some sick skills in this game. Like Havili did a little pass out the kind of back of his hand. Jordan showed some really sweet gas to go through a couple of gaps. Like I said, for Siu, his try was pretty well taken. Sevu Reece showed a bit of gas when he did his little try. Taylor was busting up down the wing. So there were some pretty nice moments and some very good skills. I guess the Crusaders, if you are going to be a real glass half empty guy, you would say maybe they let their foot off the gas and that their last points were scored in the 69th minute and then they let the Chiefs in for 2. Maybe. And if you're a Chiefs fan, that bright side is the fact that you kept fighting till the end. But overall, pretty tough result to take. The Crusaders travel away to the Highlanders next, so that may be their toughest test of the season thus far. And the Chiefs are at home to the Hurricanes, so it's not quite the same as going down to Christchurch, but it is certainly another tough one for them. The next one, and this is the reason I missed pretty much every game this week, is I went to the Blues game against the Sunwolves. It was played at QBE Stadium, which is out in Albany. So if you're familiar with Auckland, or if you're not, it's pretty far to the north of Auckland. So for me, I had to drive to the train station. I didn't want to drive to Albany. Get a train into the city, and then get a bus from the city to Albany, and then walk from the bus station, because the bus helpfully doesn't actually take you to the stadium. It takes you about 10 or 15 minute walk away from the stadium, so then walk to the stadium and then repeat that. So the whole of this game I was on a train and bus and whatnot, and likewise with this one on the way home. So I guess fortunately for me, living where I do, closer to Eden Park, it's the only game at Albany this year. But I'm kind of glad I went. It was a really miserable day, all day up until the kind of mid-afternoon, and then things started to fine up. So it was still surprising. The handling in this game wasn't the best from both sides. It was fine by the time the game got played. There may have been some moisture in the pitch, but it didn't seem to be that bad, at least at the crowd. From the crowd seemed pretty good. The line for food was astronomical and slow moving. Although it was kind of nice because I did bump into a Sunwolves fan who recognized me from the channel. He's only the second guy to actually see me face to face and recognize me from the channel, so that was good. We had a wee chat. Forgot to get your name, buddy, if you're watching. So, but it was good to meet you and have a talk about how this game was going to go. I didn't get to see him after the game, but yeah, it was still a fairly close game in the end, 28-20. 4 tries to the Blues and all from one man, Rico Ioane, 21, 34, 48 and 58 minutes. Blues goal kicking not the best in this one. Plummer, yeah, I wouldn't want him to be kicking points in a final, but he's still young. I guess he needs practice. For the Sunwolves, it was Matsuda and Hilu. I suppose Hilu, it's kind of a debate. Do you start him and get the best out of him in those early minutes like they did against the Chiefs? Or do you bring him on like in this game where he can have an impact? I don't know if he's played many full 80s, but either way he brings it when he comes on. But overall I thought the game was it was entertaining, although it wasn't a classic by any means. Like I said, too many drop balls, a fair few kind of penalties. Sonny Bill seemed to be doing kind of offloads left, right and center, although a lot of them were a wee bit loose from what I could see in my vantage point at the stadium. So I guess we were lucky not to get punished a wee bit more than that. But the Blues scrum looked fairly solid. They were getting a few penalties there. The crowd was actually not too bad for this one, and in front of me there were a bunch of guys. I'm assuming they were like Argentinian, either way they were Spanish speaking, I guess like a school team. And those guys were trying to get the crowd going. So, yeah, it was a pleasant game to go to. I'm glad I went. There was a bit of TMO in this one. Like I said, 4 tries to Rico. The Blues attack, at least from what I could see in the stadium, it does look a wee bit pedestrian. But then when they're able to get a quick ball out to Rico on the left, he was able to take advantage. But apart from that, it didn't look that startling. If the Sunwolves had been able to keep the penalty count down a bit more, they might have actually been able to get into this one because they did look dangerous at times. But yeah, it is a win for the Blues. So first win of the season. I definitely cannot complain about that. The Imbiber, the guy in Japan who does rugby YouTube videos as well, is going to send me a bottle of sake because we had a wee little bet on this one. So everything came up Blues for this one, and I really can't complain about that. The next one, the Waratahs and the Reds. So again, I didn't see this one. I've only seen highlights. I was on the trip back from Albany to home. So 28 points to 17 win. Seems kind of solid without being all that convincing for the Waratahs. For the Reds, it's another loss. So they're none from 3 now towards the wrong end of the table. But yeah, I'm not sure how far off the pace they were. I'll need to get your guys' advice who have seen the game in full. But Hannigan, Rona and Newsom tries for the Waratahs. The Reds equaled them in tries. It was just kicks that they weren't able to match. Kirivi, Fairway Sautia and Naivalu. It's an interesting one as well because the Reds had a yellow card in this one. JP Smith got yellow carded for, I guess, not being back 10 metres after they'd already conceded quite a few penalties. And then it was not long after that the Waratahs got Hannigan's try. He actually showed a bit of power. Someone tweeted me about that as well, because I sometimes join that criticism of Hannigan sometimes being a wee bit soft, although I think it was Duncan Paiawa who he went over, so he should be going over the likes of him. But then the Reds scored not long after, so even with a man down they were able to score points, so that yellow card seemed to be 7 apiece if I counted correctly, so that's not ideal if you're a Tars fan. It was 16-12 at halftime. So the Reds were still right in it, but Rona got a try, which was some pretty poor defence down the left wing, made it 21-12. Naivalu did show a bit of gas to get his one, but Newsom kind of sealed the deal for them towards the end. It was nice to see the Waratahs in their heritage jerseys. At the SCG, it's kind of I'm not used to seeing rugby being played there, but I think they are playing 1 or 2 games there this year, so yeah, I suppose it's a fitting place to do it. From, again, what limited amount I saw of the game, I'm not that sold on Kurtley Beale at fullback. He did kind of bite in at one point, which seemed to cost the Tars one of their tries. So, yeah, I'm still not 100% sold. I guess we'll see what the coach does, because he certainly does have options. And also for the Reds, Hegarty, again, talking about goal kicking, he doesn't seem to be, well, he's not kind of like an Owen Farrell or a Hayden Parker kicker, is he? So I guess there's still decisions to be made for Brad Thorne as who is going to play 10. But yeah, the Reds could definitely use a win. The Tars, I guess, are going to be competing with the Rebels for the top of that Aussie conference, but there's still not one side which is totally on top yet. I guess the Rebels are unbeaten, so we'll see if they can continue that run. But the Waratahs do travel away to the Brumbies. They'll be trying to put some more pain in on those guys, and the Reds are away to the Sunwolves, which was a didn't mean to swear if that sounded like a swear word, a fixture which didn't go that well for them last year. They seem to get a bit of a hiding. The next one, the Lions are up against the Jaguares, and they did them 47 points to 39. Massively high scoring game. A whole lot of tries in this one. It was Herbst, Yankees, Quokka Smith, Similani, Skuman, and Skosan got 2 for the Lions. For the Jaguares, Mojano, Montoya got 2. Baldunquil, Seal, French, Spanish pronunciation poor there, Moroni, and Tukelet. Kind of like that Chiefs game, interesting times that those tries were scored for the Jaguares, 72 minutes, 80 minutes, and 81 minutes. The Lions may be ruining those tries, because they did go from a clear winning position. It was like 47 points to 13. Easy bonus point win. And that bonus point was gone by the end of it. But it seemed pretty dominant in that first half. By halftime, it was 26-13, which is not that dominant. But then early second half, Skuman got his try, Skorsan got his try. Yankees actually seemed to be running the show really well from what limited amount I've seen of this one. Yeah, a kind of class performance from him. It's something I guess we haven't seen him stamp his authority on a game that much this season, but it seems to be a pretty happy hunting ground for them when they play the Jaguares at home. Mojano's still dangerous though. He kind of got a try out of nowhere. And yeah, those last few tries, I guess if we're talking about ruining kind of poor decision making for the Lions, it was the losing of that bonus point. But for the Jaguares, it's the fact that Moroni's try, they took a quick drop goal to convert it, and he missed it. It was like right under the bar. And if they'd got that plus that final try, they would have been able to get close enough for a losing bonus point. But that lack of 2 points there ended up being pretty costly. The Lions, from what I've seen, very dangerous from turnover ball. They got some very quick guys, and the likes of Skuman and Quokka Smith are pretty mobile in terms of loose forwards. They're not that kind of big bulky runner, so they add something to their game. But yeah, Yankees made 1,000 points for his Super Rugby career, so congrats to him. See if he can add a Super Rugby title to that achievements list before things are over. But anybody beating the Crusaders at this point seems like a pretty big, long shot. But yeah, Lions win at home is what they always do over the Jaguares, so congrats to them. Hopefully back on the right track. For the Jaguares, it's still a test to see whether they can actually win in South Africa, because they've got the Stormers away, who will be coming off the bye. The Lions will be welcoming the Rebels, the unbeaten Rebels, so they'll be looking to see if they can end that run next week. And lastly, and why I've got the Bulls gear on, Bulls against Sharks. This was a test of kind of who's the real deal between these two teams, because both had put in 2 good performances and a poor one. And it was, yeah, like I said, a test to see who was going to kind of flinch, who really has it, who's going to push for that South African conference dominance, and who's not quite up to standard. Well, if that game's anything to go by, the Bulls are the real deal. 37 points to 14. Only 3 tries to the Bulls, so Creel and 2 to Speckman. But a whole lot of kicks from Pollard again, really punishing the Sharks. Ward and Dan Dupree getting the tries for the Sharks. Pollard is just in sensational form with that boot. He is just punishing everything from long distance. I think he missed again, was it just one kick? He even got a drop goal on this one. So, yeah, he is just commanding. Like, if Yankees wants to steal that 10 jersey from the Springboks, he's going to have to keep playing like this, because Pollard's just, at the moment, seemingly doing it pretty much week in, week out. There seemed to be a pretty good crowd for this one. I suppose that winning feeling will definitely attract more fans, and if they can continue playing like that, there's no reason why Loftus won't be more even filled to the rafters. But yeah, it was Captain America against Black Panther, which was kind of nice to see. The jerseys don't actually clash for these Marvel themed ones. But yeah, Hendricks, man, that guy looked good for the Bulls. He almost had a try right before halftime, so the Bulls could have even won it by a bit more, but that was really good to see him kind of back and with a bit of gas, which was surprising. We saw Liebenberg get a big line break, which was nice from the big number 4. Like we saw that last year from the Bulls with Sneijman and Diacha, so it seems to be a big thing for the Bulls that they've got locks who can just tear it up when they've got a bit of space in front of them. But yeah, it looked like the Sharks again, a wee bit of careless tackling. Yeah, just not able to resist that kind of onslaught of the Bulls. Speckman again is still sharp. Galant helped with that as well. So yeah, Bulls also from turnover ball seem to be pretty dangerous, and just yeah, if you're going to give the Bulls penalties, they're going to punish you, and the Sharks didn't pick that up quick enough. Yeah, damage done. 37-14 is convincing. Both those sides go on the bye for next week, I think, along with the Blues. Yeah, the Sunwolves will be hosting the Reds. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see how things kind of come out. We've got 3 sides on the bye for a change. That's the first week that's going to happen. So, we are really getting into Super Rugby proper now. The Bulls are certainly putting their hands up. The Lions are proving they're not dead and buried. The Waratahs, I guess we're still not quite sure. The Blues finally get a win, which is overdue but nice. The Chiefs, the kind of pain goes on. The Crusaders, they are just looking tough. But yeah, like I said, I only managed to see, this is the least amount of Super Rugby I have seen in a very long time for one weekend. I only managed to watch one of these 5 games in full, and that was because I was there in person. I didn't get up for either of these two. I've had a bit of a cold the last couple of days, and plus the Six Nations is on as well. So yeah, it's been very busy. But do let me know more detail on the games that you guys have seen. I do appreciate that when you guys kind of fill me in with some of the good performers and some of the blanks that I might be missing from the... It's normally 10 minutes of highlights, but like this game was 13 because there was so much to cram in there. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts, and yeah, I'll talk to you again soon. See you later.